Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. We're going to be working on a super cute Dollar Tree DIY using the red truck signs. I did see this, which gave me the idea, in another YouTuber's DIY, and her name was Tina Golik, I believe. She had mentioned in hers that she had seen it somewhere else. What's great about these DIYs is that none of ours are the same. So everything in this is 100% from the Dollar Tree. So everything that I use will be listed in the description below. There's a couple pop-ups because later I decided to use a couple more things than what's in the original picture. For this project, you're going to need two of these signs. For one of these signs, we're going to lay it down and you're going to cut across this line here below the pumpkins. I used an X-Acto knife. It would probably be easier using a utility knife or whatever you're comfortable using. You only really have to get about halfway through the material and it will snap off. What I end up doing is going around the edges simply with a pair of scissors and trimming them down. For the next step, what I used is one of the cardboard pumpkin buckets, and then I also used one of the paper gift bags. It's a burgundy color, which is kind of close to the same color as the truck that I'm doing. What I did was actually open the bag up and cut it straight down the sides and across the bottom. Then the next part, you're going to lay it flat out. This actually measures almost perfectly from side to side of the pumpkin. What I did here was just lay the pumpkin down and just trace along the outside. Then I moved it over a little bit so the lines were exactly the same all the way across. And then you're going to cut this strip out. For these projects, I always use hot glue. It just seems to work quicker and it's faster to get the projects done. How I started was just run a bead of hot glue across the top here and then press that down. And then I went down the sides and in the center all the way around the pumpkin up to the other side and glued it across the top of that side as well. On both sides of the pumpkin there is a hole. There was actually a string that was attached to most of them. Mine didn't have one, and that was fine because I knew I wasn't going to need it. What I did was just took a pen and from the other side pushed the hole through because we're going to use this later for the fairy lights. This part we're going to start attaching the pumpkin base to the full truck sign that we did not cut. What I also did too, after we put the paper around it, go around the edges and trim the excess if there's any excess hangover so that the paper is flush with the sides of the pumpkin, because when you're going to glue this on, you want it to fit perfectly flat. This part, there's really no right or wrong way to put this on. It's kind of however you're going to want it. What I did was kind of try to center it and the top of the pumpkin be a little bit below where the pumpkins are on the truck. And then I just saturated it with hot glue and covered this where it says the Happy Harvest, pressed it down. I actually put my hand on the inside of the pumpkin so you're not putting weight on the whole thing to press it down until you start to feel cool and it's settled. Then you're going to saturate the other side of the pumpkin with the hot glue and kind of line up the piece that we cut off with the pumpkin. What I actually did was, once I kind of got it on and the glue was still hot, I stood it straight up so you can see that it's going to balance on all four tires perfectly. Stuck it there, then laid it down and pressed on the inside again on that side until it cooled down. For the inside of the truck, I wanted to use this little bale of hay. What I found out though, it was not high enough, so I used a piece of foam block that I have, which is also from the Dollar Tree, put it on the inside. I did not glue it down. You can do that. Then once we put the bale of hay in, it was the perfect size for what I wanted to do. Here I used the canvas leaves that came in the bag of leaves. I just like them. I think it's more of like a country look. And what I did was that I went around the three sides of the bale of hay, alternating colors. Now just a note, once you take that wrapping off of the hay, the stuff does go all over the place. So I did most of them on the outside. I put it back on the pumpkin and glued the rest on. Next, I used these little wooden pumpkin stickers I found. I thought they were absolutely adorable. You're going to want to flip them over. On the other side, they have a little sticky tab, and kind of just peel them off so it doesn't stick to other stuff you don't want it sticking to. Then I went ahead and went around two sides of the pumpkin and just hot glued the bottom of them right to the inside. Don't glue the pumpkins on the side where we put the hole in, because the next step we're going to actually put the fairy lights in, and then you'll go back and glue the pumpkins on. Here we're going to pull our fairy lights through the hole. Continue to pull them all the way through until the little metal wire meets the plastic cap. And then what I did next was run the wiring underneath the pumpkin, and I hot glued it on. Now make sure when you're hot gluing it on, you're not gluing the part that has the screw in it that you would have to change the batteries. Alright, now we're going to start decorating our hay bale. I keep messing that up. With these pumpkins, and I originally didn't want to use these pumpkins because I just thought it was a little too glittery, and they also have jack-o'-lantern faces, which is fine. But what I did with these was actually pull that stick out of the pumpkin. The piece that goes in the pumpkin is actually a sharp edge, which works better to poke through the hay down into the foam. Once you get that in there, you can go ahead and stick the pumpkin back on top. I pushed it pretty much all the way through and put the pumpkin back on and turn the face to the back of the truck so no one's going to see the jack-o'-lantern. I did 2 of those. I actually went back and added these little pine cones. They're actually cinnamon scented pine cones. They smell great. I thought I was going to have more room for pumpkins in here. I didn't. So I actually used those for a filler. Once you get those in, then you can start working on your fairy lights. These are very bendable, very easy to work with until you get them wherever you like them. Now there is one part I did forget to mention. When you cut off the rope that's on the top of these hanging trucks, there's 2 holes. On one side, you could pretty much cover it up with the leaf that's already there. So what I did on the other side was just use the leaf and the little bow from the truck that we cut the bottom off of. What I also did was, because I didn't like how jagged the edges were, I went over the cut piece with nautical rope. And here's the completed project. I think it turned out absolutely adorable. I love it. It's on my fireplace right now. And there's so many ways you can do it your own way. Other things you might want to add or not use. You can make it completely your own. I hope that you enjoyed my video. If you do, please like and subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.